Hello guys, today we'll be doing this question. It's a trick proof question from June 2026. It was written by those who did rewrite. It's a mathematics paper 2, trigonometry. We are proving the trig identity. So we are told that we are given this, which is sine of a minus b. This is a compound angle identity for sine. And then we are given that if sine of a minus b equals to sine of a multiplied by cos of b minus cos of a multiplied by sine of b, and then that's what we've been given. And then 5.1, we need to use the formula given above to derive a formula for sine of a plus b. So if you notice there, the difference between sine of a minus b and sine of a plus b is the positive and the negative. See, this one is positive over here, this one is negative, and then we need to use the fact that this one is equal to this one to derive a formula for this one. Very interesting. Okay, let's have a look at it. Now, looking at this over here, how can we make this similar to this one? Or this one similar to this one? Okay, we can say sine of A, because we want a positive b, we can take this minus and then put a minus b. And then this minus b, we just put it in bracket. So there's two brackets over here, one for both a minus b and one for minus b. Right. So we're going to consider this minus b just like how this b is. This minus over here would be this minus over here. Right. So now, because we're told that the sine of, let me cancel these things out. We're told that the sine of a minus b is this over here, which is sine of a cos b. In this case, it will be sine of a cos of minus b. And then we have a minus sign over here, a minus sign over here. And then we have cos of a sine of b. It's going to be cos of a, but then this time it's going to be sine of minus b. So basically what we've done is that we've considered this minus b as this b over here. And then notice that now minus b, minus an angle, is the fourth quadrant. Remember when we do reduction formula, this is 90 minus theta, or rather, let me even go to the negative angles. Let me be specific to the negative angles. This over here is theta minus 360. That is the first quadrant. Second quadrant is minus theta, or fourth quadrant rather, is minus theta or theta minus 90. That's the fourth quadrant. And then the third quadrant is theta minus 180. And the second quadrant is minus theta minus 180. So if you have a negative angle like minus theta, in this case we have it as minus b. If you have a negative angle, you are basically saying that you are in the fourth quadrant. And then remember, in the fourth quadrant, only cos is positive. Alright, remember sine, all of them are positive in the first quadrant, sine is positive in the second quadrant where all of them are negative, and tan is positive in the third quadrant where all of them are negative. So in the fourth quadrant we have cos as positive, implying that we're going to have sine of a, and then this cos of minus b, since cos is positive in that quadrant, we're going to have it as cos of b. And then we have the negative sign over here. We have cos of a, and then sine of minus b. Remember, we're in the fourth quadrant and cos is the only one that is positive in that quadrant, which means that this sign would be negative. It will be multiplied by minus sine of b. Now, rewriting this in a simplified format, we know that this negative over here would multiply, this negative cos a would multiply the minus sine b, which would eventually have a positive in the middle. So basically, since we know that sine of a minus b is sine of a plus b, because the two negatives multiply each other, we have a formula for that. we have answered the question that the examiner has asked us.